Hell, with an O stapled to the ass end, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain. I didn't die, so the podcast continues. Yes, I apologize for being out for a couple weeks. No podcasts, no Sunday streams, but I was unwell. Ooh, very good, Cafe Fox. That is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles overworld theme on the NES version. Yes. Well done. So, right after the... Well, not right after. So we had the Extra Life charity event early in November. And that was that weekend. Very successful event. A lot of fun. Thanks, everyone, for... showing up and hanging out and donating and making the event super fun. We raised $3,000 for Rady Children's Hospital, so that's awesome. Unfortunately, the following Wednesday night, I got sick. Had some type of throat issue where my throat was swelling closed, making it hard to breathe. So Thursday morning, I went to urgent care, got an oral steroid squirted down the back of my throat, which was not particularly pleasant, but that helped open up my throat a little bit. And then over the weekend, I developed a bacterial throat infection. So it was a really busy week at work, and I put it off longer than I should have, but I went back Wednesday or Thursday the following week and got, I think Wednesday, got antibiotic series and some cough suppressants. And I keep forgetting to use the money in my FSA. Because I can totally use it. I got a new job a couple months ago, and actually yesterday was my 4-month anniversary, so I have new health insurance. I'm trying an HMO this time, and I also tried putting a little bit of money into a flexible spending account, I think it's called, which is essentially not money that you can use for medical stuff, so that's not taxed. You put it in an account, and you can use that to pay for hospital visits, drugs, Band-Aids, contact lenses, pretty wide options. The thing is you have to use the money in your FSA, or it's gone at the end of the year. But it's only to a certain point, so I just put in like $500, whatever it is, because if I don't use any of the $500, that rolls over. Only a certain amount rolls over into the following year, so I put that amount in, and I keep forgetting to use the damn thing because it's completely new to me. Oh well. Hello, Lindy. Yeah, very miserable. Hawking up disgusting clumps of ugliness. Very hard to breathe, which makes it very hard to sleep. But the new bed I bought, with the little bit of a windfall I got from switching jobs from all the stored up PTO that my previous job paid out, I bought a new bed which has a motorized frame, so being able to prop myself up well, that was very helpful. But yeah, I didn't sleep well for like a week and a half. And you can still hear it in my voice a little bit. I'm not 100%, but I'm not bringing anything up anymore. And still a little gunky, but a lot better than I was. So that's nice. Anyway, I hope you've all been fine in the last 2 weeks. Looking forward to next year's Extra Life, but I'm not going to think too much about it until later on next year. But hell of a lot of fun. Really had a great time. I know a lot of you did as well. Very successful year. Again, we raised $3,000 for 80 children, so that was a lot of fun. And I wasn't sure about the Hunt-A-Killer game that my sister and I did, the little tabletop murder mystery thing. I was like, is that going to be interesting to watch at all? But a lot of you really seem to enjoy it, so we'll consider bringing something like that back again next year. I am, because YouTube, for some reason, I guess it just doesn't save streams that are longer than a certain number of hours. Like, it says it saved the 25 hours of the stream, but it's unplayable for whatever reason. So I'm yanking all the footage off of Twitch and uploading it in chunks to YouTube. So if you missed anything, keep an eye on my channel. It'll be there eventually. So during the Extra Life, during the charity event, the main game we played was Resident Evil Village. I have since completed the game, and the Rose, Shadows of Rose, is that what it's called? DLC. And overall, very positive on Resident Evil Village. I thought it was quite entertaining. I'd say it has higher highs than Resident Evil 7, the Ethan Winters adventure that preceded it. But I'd say 7 is probably a bit more consistent. The game is, for those who haven't played it, it's split up into 4 major areas. So Lady Dimitrescu is one of the 4 lords of the game. There's also a possessed doll, there's a mutated fish guy, and there's Heisenberg, the telekinetic hammer-wielding dude in the hat. And then, of course, there's the village, which is the hub, and then there's Mother Miranda, who's the final boss, right? Between each lord, you return to the village, and new paths open up, and new enemies are introduced, and you have new weapons and new items that allow you to explore more of the village. And the village changes a little bit each time, which is, it's a really interesting hub world. I like the way the hub world works. It makes it fun to return to it each time and explore. Lady Dimitrescu's castle, which is the first major area of the game, is far and away the best part of the game. It is really, really good. It's the most interesting place to be. It has the most internal variety, from the splendor of the inside of Lady Dimitrescu's castle, to the courtyard outside, to the dank, drippy, goopy dungeons underneath, to the harpy-infested rooftops. It is a fascinating place to explore, and also the most interesting lore-wise. It does the best job with environmental storytelling, and it also features the most interesting characters, Lady Dimitrescu. I do, however, feel her daughters are underserved. I think they could have done more with the daughters, because they're just there and interchangeable. You know, her daughters, good old Susan and Beatrice and Cindy. Her 3 daughters, you know. They visually are incredibly similar looking. They act exactly the same. They have they don't have a presence or personality like Lady D does. So, missed opportunity there. But who/what they are and their relation to Lady D is fascinating. Easily the best part of the game. The next part is the possessed doll, House Biavento something, which is a very short sequence. I mean, it's like maybe an hour, even for someone who's really slow in video games like me. Um, it's not a bad sequence. It's actually very interesting, and it's more a haunted house spooky kind of thing, and it's done quite well. There's some really cool stuff in there. And when I finished, I was like, well, that was really short. But if it were any longer, I think that's the way. I'm tap dancing around it for sake of spoilers, because House Bia Vento something or whatever it's called is something you should experience knowing as little as possible, so that the scares surprise you. I wish the final confrontation with the possessed doll was a little bit more imaginative than what they ultimately do, but everything leading up to it is very interesting. Then you go to the fish guy, which is also not much longer. It just feels kind of underdeveloped. Like there's some cool ideas. They just don't seem to be fully fleshed out. There's a sequence where you're making your way across a lake or a reservoir or something, while the fish guy is trying to get you. And it's not difficult. It's not tense. It's not scary. It's very clear that he can only attack in certain areas. It's essentially a timing thing. It's like jumping a fire bar in Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, it's a hazard. Yeah, it can kill you, but it's just a fire bar that spins. Just, run past it when it swings out of the way. That's it, I think they could have done more there. And then the final area with Heisenberg is about as long as the Castle Dimitrescu. And it's a pretty good area. It's got some interesting new enemies and new mechanics, but Heisenberg and the area just isn't as interesting as Lady Dimitrescu. I mean, which is not to say that the factory level of Heisenberg or any of the others are bad. It's just Lady D is on such an entire other level that the rest of the game doesn't come close to it, which is kind of a shame. Still a fun game, though. Shadow of Rose, the DLC, is interesting, and it's fun. Plays a little bit differently. I really like that you go back to the dollhouse, and there's some other sequences in there that I won't spoil that I thought were even more effective than the base game's version. So I really liked the revisit in the Shadow of Rose. But it's like, it's fine. They do a nice job of all of its reused assets. There's a couple new enemies, but all the locations are redressed versions of existing areas. But they do a nice job of redressing them enough to make them feel distinct enough from the base game to be unique. The Resident Evil 8, or Resident Evil Village rather, the DLC pales in comparison to the glorious bounty we received with the previous game. I mean, the previous game just had a ton of awesome stuff. You had the little almost point-and-click puzzle adventure thing with Marguerite serving some dude, chaining a guy into a bed and feeding him a meal, and when she left, you had to figure a way to get out, and then run back to bed and reset everything before she comes back. And she looks around and says, "Were you out of bed? Something looks out of place." That was really fun. they had that weird thing where you run around the house collecting food to feed Jack. That's not my thing, but it was funny. There's the poker game or blackjack or something that you play in Lucas's dungeon against another guy where you're staking your fingers. That was fun to play once. And then there was the meat of it, the End of Zoe DLC where you play her Uncle Joe, who just punches all the molded zombies with his fists. It's great. This is just a 3-hour campaign with Rose, and it's fine. There's some good stuff in there. I mean, it's hard to be disappointed because Resident Evil 7's DLC was an embarrassment of riches, and Village's DLC is just, it's fine. You know? It's fine. Hey, Chicago. Says, glad you're feeling better. 25-hour stream. It wasn't really the 25-hour stream. You know, my sister got sick, and I think she got me sick. So it happens. What are you gonna do? Cafe Fox says, how is there a possessed doll? Is the series not about the T-virus anymore? I haven't played anything past 3. It's not exactly a possessed doll. It's not a ghost. There is what appears to be a doll that ambulates by itself. There's something else going on there, but you know, I'll leave that to you to discover. But honestly, if they wanted to throw ghosts into Resident Evil, fine. You know, I'd be okay with it. Whatever, it's fine. Throw ghosts in there. I mean, we've got zombies, we've got werewolves now. At least werewolf adjacent, vampire adjacent, creature from the Black Lagoon adjacent. We've got monsters of all kinds. Yeah, you want to throw in a ghost? Sure. I mean, the ghosts really aren't too far removed from, you know, telekinetic control or psychokinetic control, which some characters throughout the series have exhibited in some manner or another. So, yeah, I'd be fine with it. But overall, quite enjoyed Resident Evil Village. So, let me do that. So, I was fortunate enough to get a new job a couple months ago. Chicago says there's werewolves, vamps, and Black Lagoon creatures. I've missed a lot in Resident Evil games. Yeah, I mean, you know, to be fair, even in the first game, there was more than just the zombies. There was ambulatory plants. There were giant lizard creatures. There's also a giant snake, giant sharks, giant spiders. You know, so it did start out mostly with zombies and giant creature of some sort. And, you know, some mutated thing like, you know, the tyrant. But, yeah, as you get later into the series, you get all manner of weird crap. Last one you played was Revelations, huh? Yeah, 2013 or something like that. Yeah, 10 years, been a while. I liked Revelations. Revelations 2, that's the one with Barry and his daughter, Natalia? What's her name? I think Sherry Birkin's in it too. I don't remember. Cafe Fox says Resident Evil series has become a storytelling how the world becomes a magical fantasy realm. Yeah, it's gonna get like fairies and unicorns and flesh-eating unicorns. That's what the game needs. So anyway, my cost of living had outpaced my salary, so I spent quite some time prepping myself, bettering myself to make myself more attractive for moving on in my career. Finally worked, got a new job, making a bit more money, which is good because my rent went up again. So my rent went up $60 in October of 2021. Then it went up another $77 in April of this year. This month it went up another $85. So that's $222 increase in 13, 14 months. So, man, glad I'm making a little bit more money now, because that would have been very problematic had I not recently got a better paying job. However, as much as I'm paying in rent now, which 7 or 8 years ago, I used to live in Pacific Beach, and they raised my rent by a couple $100. And that's why I moved. That's why I live here now. So it took 7 or 8 years, but my rent is now finally caught up to what I would have been paying had I stayed in the studio apartment in Pacific Beach. So I'm in a 1-bedroom now. And as expensive as rent is now, and it's a lot, if I moved next door, I'd be paying nearly $1,000 more. So they may be jacking up my rent, but I'm still like $900 some less than my neighbors. So, and that's fairly consistent throughout San Diego. I've priced a lot of 1-bedroom apartments of similar size, and if I wanted to move to a different apartment, another 1-bedroom that's about the same square footage, I could expect to be paying well over $2,000 a month. Easily $2,200. The apartments that I live in, these apartments right here, currently letting for $2,400 a month. So my rent went up another $85. Yeah, that sucks, but it could be a lot worse. I could be paying what my neighbors are paying, and yikesers. Chicago says, are the new owners watching your stream? They saw you get better paid. They knew you could afford another hike, so they raised your rent. They're doing a lot of work on the apartment. They're gating the entire community. Redid all the roofs. They're painting all the buildings now. They built little cubby holes for the trash and recycle bins. They redid the pool, the front where the leasing office is. They got rid of the laundry room there and replaced it with a small gym. So they're renovating all of the apartments. As soon as someone moves out, they renovate the apartments. They just they're not interested in affordable apartments. They're interested in apartments that will make them lots of money. This apartment complex was purchased by a property management company a year ago. So October 2021, rent went up $60. That was the second increase in at the time, 5 or 6 years I'd lived here. Then a month and a half, 2 months later, this apartment complex was purchased by the management company. And then they changed the way they charged rent. They did that number fudgery thing where they said, oh, no, we're not raising your rent $77. It's just that your parking space and trash and water and stuff and pest control, that no longer counts as part of your rent. You have to pay separate for that, which is raising your rent. I don't know if they think anyone in the world is dumb enough to fall for that. And honestly, that pisses me off. I hate that. And now actually the rent is going up $85. So they're like, oh, we've only raised rent once. What? But again, if I move, I'm going to be paying several $100s more. So I'm staying. Luckily, I like this place. So, as long as I can afford it. And also, I do work remotely. So worst comes to worst, I can just move somewhere cheaper. Like another city. Another state even. But I like California and I like San Diego, so I don't want to, but we'll see what the future brings. So, I watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and I thought it was an utter delight. Unless you don't like the Guardians of the Galaxy, I recommend it. It's like Werewolf by Night. It's billed as a special presentation or something like that. So it's like 45 minutes. Interestingly, I read a lot of reviews, and by a lot I mean 3, and all of them were very similar. They're like, it's stupid. I mean, it's kind of charming, but overall it's just kind of dumb. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't disagree, but it's also, to me anyway, it was really fun and funny. Like, of course, I mean, if you go in not knowing the premise, maybe it might be too goofy for you. But I mean, the marketing made it very clear that Mantis and Drax kidnapped Kevin Bacon to give to Peter Quill for Christmas. That's very silly. That's the kind of comic book goofiness that I love. And that's exactly what happens in the short film. And there's some, as is typical with the James Gunn stuff, there's some great music. And I found it very charming and very funny. Is it very silly? Yes. Yes, it is. But I like it, so there. Oh, and Cosmo the Space Dog has a voice now, so that's neat. I think we saw Cosmo just as part of the collector's collection at the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and Cosmo's just hanging out with the Guardians now, and kind of like a Doug in the Pixar Up movie, has kind of a collar that vocalizes what he's saying. Oh, and Groot's been working out. Last time we saw Groot was in Guardians 2, very lanky teenager. Groot is beefy now, very baby faced, but very beefy. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So YouTube has been being very weird with its recommendations lately. Jared asks, did I hit any of those hero movies on my list? No. The next one is Ghost Rider. God, I haven't watched any of the superhero movies on that list since I think April was the last one I did. The last one I did, rather, was in April. The next one's Ghost Rider. I just haven't got around to it yet. No. But YouTube has been... yeah, I've watched a fair number of things. I actually watched the entire Rec series last weekend. REC, short for record on a camcorder. It's the movie came out in, I think, Spain, 2007 or somewhere around there. Found footage movie. local news crew follows firefighters into a building to help some lady who's locked in her apartment, and then the Spain version of the CDC or someone locks them in the building, quarantines the entire building. In fact, Quarantine was the name of the film when it was remade in North America. And it spawned a series of sequels, and I watched all of them. Rec 1, 2, 3, and 4. And not must-sees by any measure, but I did enjoy them quite a bit. I found them all pretty fun. So, have I played the Guardians game? I have not, but I don't know how well it plays, but character and story-wise, it looks interesting. Yeah, every time I watch a movie, I do a quick review of it on. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see me write a review for those movies. Last thing I watched, I finally watched all the way through the Eurovision movie, the Will Ferrell movie. I think I just don't like Will Ferrell's sense of humor. Because I hated it. I thought it was really awful. It's got some great music, but... yeah, it was rough. It took me about... The first time I tried watching it back in October or something like that, I made it like 20 minutes and turned it off. I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Finally sat down and watched it. And by sit down and watch it, I mean I had to take breaks. I think it took me 3.5 hours to get through the movie. Anyway, by the way, Jared, your Patreon anniversary is tomorrow. So, it's Monday, 28th. So, let me know. Think about what you'd like for your Patreon reward video, and let me know. I'll send you a reminder on Monday. So, YouTube's been weird about recommendations lately. Earlier this month, I suddenly started getting a lot of recommendations for videos featuring people modeling or possibly dancing in bikinis and lingerie. I'm not sure what I watched that made YouTube go, oh, you like the sexy, do you? I'm like, what did I watch? And I'm browsing through my history and I'm trying to figure it out. And like the closest thing I could figure is I watched a live performance of Fran Chu Chu from Zombieland Saga, which is a musical anime, came out a couple of years ago about zombies who are a pop group. It feels like a show where they're like, okay, what if we did K-On! Or one of the other girl band idol group, singer groups, but they're zombies. Why? Who cares? It's funny. I ended up, as a musical series, it's actually pretty good, and it can be very funny. And then I saw that at some point they staged a live performance. And it was just a live performance. They didn't really do anything with, like, zombie anything. It was just music from the show. But I thought it was fun. It wasn't, like, super sexy. They weren't scantily clad. I mean, some of them were wearing skirts at some point, but they weren't particularly leggy. Like, that's literally the only thing in my history I could find that's like, why is YouTube suddenly recommending me bikini and lingerie videos? Well, this week, for now, you just want a Sunday stream? Okay, well, we'll get one tomorrow. Gotta beat that. Gotta beat the smack around that palm that's at the bottom of the abyss in Trails 3. So we'll do that tomorrow. What was I talking about? Oh, so this week, YouTube is recommending me a bunch of videos of some VTuber, some virtual YouTuber, someone who I think is streaming on Twitch also, who's streaming on Twitch and playing video games with an animated virtual overlay. But all the videos that are being recommended don't seem to be her channel. They seem to be completely unaffiliated channels that are just clipping their favorite moments and editing them together in a montage. I have no idea what I watch that YouTube thinks I'm interested in watching this person's content or clips of this person's content, and I'm sure it's fine. I don't know who this person is. I'm sure they're like insanely popular or something. I'm sure they're absolutely lovely. I don't know. But people in lingerie or virtual YouTubers, why are you recommending that to me? I don't know, but I'll take it over, hate speech and harmful disinformation. Yeah. Recommend all the bikini videos and VTubers you want, YouTube. That's perfectly fine. Keep the hate speech out of my recommends, and I'm pretty happy. Oh, by the way, the first Eurovision reaction video I did got 7 fraudulent copyright claims. The second one I did got 21. Well, as of yesterday, I beat all of them. So, yay me. So still batting 1,000 on the fraudulent copyright claims. Welcome to the Twitch clip channels. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with anyone clipping their favorite moments of... What is her name? Kitsune? No, it's not that. It starts with a K. Korone or something? I don't know. I don't mind people, clipping their favorite moments and sharing them. It's fine. I'm just... Suddenly I'm getting a lot of these videos recommended to me, and I'm like, I don't get... As far as the character design for Kitsune, it's not Kitsune, Korone something. As long as the character design, yeah, it's an anime girl. It's cute. I'm sure she's very entertaining. But I just find it curious. It's like, what did I watch that YouTube's algorithm is going, I bet you'd like this. So, Andor. Andor came to a close this week. New Star Wars show. The marketing really spoke to me. Now, initially, I wasn't particularly interested in Andor. I mean, it's Star Wars, I'm going to watch it, but you're like, oh, the second build character from the movie that wasn't good. And while I found Rogue One entertaining enough, I mean, my butt didn't go numb watching it. I got through it in one sitting. It was fine. I don't think it's a very well constructed or plotted movie. It feels like a movie that was ripped apart and put back together in the middle of filmmaking, and from what I've heard, that's kind of what happened. Also seems to be the case because there's a lot of stuff in like the marketing for that film that's not actually in the film. So I have a feeling like the issues I have with the movie, with stuff being set up that's never followed through on, could possibly be a result of that. Either way, I got entertainment out of Rogue One, but I do think it's a genuinely bad movie. So you're saying, we're going to make a whole show out of Andor. I'm like, why? I mean, okay, cool, make a good show. Then the marketing came out, and I went, ooh, this looks really good. And so they premiered the first 3 episodes several weeks back. And I was really excited. And I was, even though it was not a school night, a work night, I stayed up. Why do I always say school night? I've been out of school for 20 years. I don't know why I keep doing that. But I was telling this story like earlier in the week, and I did that then too. Anyway, I had to work the next morning, but I was planning, here in California, Disney stuff drops at midnight. I was planning on staying up till 3 in the morning, watch all 3 episodes. I was excited. So I stayed up, watched the first episode, thought it was garbage, and I went to bed. And I was really upset. I'm like, oh man, I really wanted to like this. This looks so good, but the first episode was so boring. Later in the week, came out of like Tuesday night, I think. So I think Friday after work, I watched episodes 2 and 3. It's like, maybe it just had a rough start. So I watched episodes 2 and 3, and they were really boring too. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I should just give up on the show. But it's Star Wars, so, the next week rolls around. I watch episode 4, and holy crap, it's great! And all the subsequent episodes were great. And Andor is great. First 3 episodes notwithstanding. And I have the minority opinion on that. No one else really seems to have found the first 3 episodes as boring as I did. But regardless, easily, in my opinion, the best Star Wars TV thing that I've seen, and possibly the best Star Wars thing, period. Of course, the show is meeting my entire wish list of Star Wars thing. No Jedi, no Tatooine, and no Skywalkers or Solos or Kenobis. Check, check, check. And it's great. So I really liked Andor, and I'm looking forward to Season 2. Is someone using my internet? Is that why the recommends are getting funny? Cafe Fox? I don't know. Jared says, nothing extra on the anime girl, no special outfit. Do you mean the VTuber? Better than Mando 1? Oh, yes. By far. And I like Mando, the Mandalorian. See, I like Season 2 also. Bit of step down, I'd say, but the first season of Mandalorian I thought was quite good and very entertaining, but Andor is just far and away better than both seasons of Mandalorian, which was much better than Book of Boba Fett, and Kenobi was halfway there. I mean, half of it worked really well, and half of it didn't, in my opinion. But yeah, I really liked Andor. Shame about the first 3 episodes, but better to have a rough start than... Actually, it's probably better to have a rough middle, because at that point you're probably invested. You have a rough start, you might not continue through the show. You have a rough ending, that's what you remember. Rough middle, it interests you, you push through because you're invested, and then it leaves you happy. Like Bride of Chucky, 98, I think. Bride of Chucky is a wonderful, fun film that I enjoy a lot, except for the last 30 seconds. I was like, oh, that's stupid. On multiple levels. And I walk out of the theater going... And even though I enjoyed the entire movie up to that point, I walk out of the theater going, oh, that was dumb. So you do not want to drop the ball at the end. Ideally, you don't want to drop the ball. But wherever you drop it, try not to drop it at the very last frame of the film. Not a great place to do it. What else we got? I've got lots of topics because it's been 2 weeks. So, Avatar 2 is, can you believe it, coming out in December, so a couple weeks. I don't care. And it's weird, because Avatar seems like a movie that would be right up my alley, because I love fantasy, and I love weird creatures, and alien planets, and big special effects films, and stuff like that, and I saw the first movie, and I wasn't really that into it either. I mean, the marketing-wise, I was like, something's just not speaking to me. I went to see it, and I went, it's alright. And the same thing with the sequel. I think really the thing that it's a pretty movie, Avatar. It's gorgeous to look at. It's got some fun character and creature design, but as a story, it's an also-ran, which I guess is fine. I mean, if you've seen Dances with Wolves or Pocahontas or... I mean, it's a well-told story for a reason. But I mean, they do nothing new with it other than neat design work, which is usually enough for me. You know, you put cool creatures in a movie, and I'm like even the Jurassic Park movies, which mostly are not good, they have dinosaurs in it, so I'm like, okay. Although my sister says, Jurassic World Dominion is asking you to hold its beer. So we'll see. I mean, I have no idea why Avatar just does not grab me. I'll see Avatar 2 when it hits Disney Plus, I'm sure, and I'll probably think it's okay. Or maybe it'll be great. I don't know, but I've seen all the marketing, and it's just like doing nothing for me. And again, it's weird. Fantasy and cool creatures and alien planets and people shooting at each other, action and effects. And I'm like, why? This feels tailor-made to my sensibilities. Why is it not grabbing me? I don't know. Jared, I've not seen any marketing for it, and I've been to a movie this week. Oh, you mean Avatar 2? Oh, hey, Reverend Werewolf. It's the... I don't think my chats are showing up. Well, they haven't until this one. That's the first one I've seen so far. And my sound is clipping a little bit. Let me turn that down just a tad. Test. That's a little bit better. Cafe Fox, I feel like these sequels should have been released a decade ago. Oh, for Avatar? Yeah, I mean, they're doing lots of water stuff in this one, so, and it looks really good. There's some really cool looking stuff. Still not grabbing me, don't know why. Maybe they were just waiting for the water effects to get to where they wanted it to be. Or maybe Cameron was too busy playing with his submersibles. Who knows? So, I don't like quitting, but I'm afraid I'm giving up on Spy X Family. And I made it fairly far into the show. Let's see. How far in did I get? Spy... Where is it? 16 episodes. I imagine it's probably only, 26 at most. You'd think I'd be able to stick it out, but nope. No. I ain't sticking it out. Jared says spending a lot of money on it. Oh, on Avatar? Yeah, very expensive movie. But, I mean, Cameron has, I'm sure it'll do fine. The first one was a cultural phenomenon for a while, made $1 billion, might have made $2 billion. I'm sure the sequel will probably be quite the event too. And it'll hit Disney Plus, so I'll see it eventually, and hopefully I'll really, really like it. But I don't know, so it's just not grabbing me. Reverend, I'll answer that in a bit. So Spy X Family, rather. Yeah, I give up. I don't like the show, and I don't like not liking things, but it's just not funny or entertaining to me. There's a lot, which is frustrating to me because there's a lot I really like about the show. I love the premise of the show. Wonderful premise. So, we have a spy who is doing spy things, and for his cover, he needs a family. So he adopts a daughter, and just goes to the orphanage and picks one. And he needs a fake wife, too. So he finds another woman who... First, it's a little contrived, but she's like, you know what would make my life easier if I had a husband? Then the women at work would stop pestering me. He's like, Funny you should say that, because I need a wife too. Want to get fake married? And she's like, do I? So we have this spy living with this fake family. But here's the thing. And they don't know he's a spy. They just know that it's a family of convenience for whatever reason. So his fake wife is an assassin. He doesn't know this. She doesn't know he's a spy. But their daughter knows both of them are a spy and assassin respectively because she's psychic. She's an Esper. They don't know that. She can read their minds. That's a really cool setup. That's a really cool setup. For me, the biggest problem with the show is the characters. I don't like any of them, with one exception. I can't stand Anya, the little girl. She sucks. Like even when grading on a curve based on the standards of your average 6-year-olds, she sucks. She sucks. The English language does not have the words adequate to convey the level of suckage that is Anya. Which is not to say she doesn't have her moments. She does. When she full-on clocks the kid in her school, that's a great moment. That was deservedly meme-worthy. But overall, she's just grating on me, and I can't stand her. I don't like her character design. What are the things on her head? What is that? I like most of the design of this show, but I don't like Anya. I mean, that's not why I don't like her. It's just weird, but, you know. And Yor, the wife, they don't do anything with her. Again, she's got her moments. Every time she goes into Mama Bear mode, it's hilarious. But she has almost no character. She doesn't even do any assassin. I think she does like one assassination to set up that she's an assassin, and then she either doesn't do any more, or it's just not important to the plot. And if it's not important to the plot, why is it there? Lloyd, on the other hand, I love. Lloyd's the husband, the spy. He's great. He's very funny in the way that he overachieves to the point of exhaustion. He's a great character. I like him. I like Yor too. She just doesn't do much in the show. Can't stand Anya. They end up in the second part of the season adopting a dog who can see the future. But he's a dog, so he can't tell anybody. But Anya's an Esper, so she can read the dog's mind, but it's a dog, and she's an idiot. So, again, that's a great new wrinkle. So far, they've done very little with that, at least as far as episode 16 or wherever I left off. Most of the other characters in the show are just, secondary characters. They're mostly fine, except Yor's brother. Who is very into his sister. Very jealous of Lloyd. Because, he wants to be married to his sister. And be physical with her. Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny. It's really gross. Yeah, anime, stop doing that. It's never been funny. Regardless of how wacky you make him, at the core of it, a dude desperately wanting to bang his sister is not a funny premise for a joke. Even if his wacky antics in and of themselves might be funny, the underlying motivation there is just gross. Stop doing that. So yeah, I'm done with Spy X Family. Wonderful premise. Show does a lot of really cool things. There are a lot of jokes that work, um, but overall, it's the characters that just. Lloyd's pretty great. Yours cool, doesn't do anything. Anya sucks. The rest of the characters are kind of blah, and it's mostly not very funny to me. So, oh well, can't win them all. Jared, you just don't like kids. We get it. Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, it's true. I don't like kids, but Anya's worse. um. Watched for Werewolf. Watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. Haven't watched since. Hey, Chaos. Colin, how are you doing? Says, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah, my Thanksgiving was fine. I got some fixins for some chili cheese dip. Treated myself to some chips and dip. It was very nice. Reverend says, I can't ever decide what to watch on Crunchyroll. There's too much to choose from. Yeah, they won't let me watch anything anymore until I pay them, and I'm not going to, so I haven't seen a ton of anime of late. Although I did just do a debut review for Chainsaw Man, which was fine, but by the end of the first episode I was like, well, that's a complete story, no need to watch episode 2. And Brian gave me a bit more of the premise of the show. I'm like, oh, that's interesting, I'll check out episode 2, and I watched episode 2 and I was like, still not great. I'm gonna give this 4 episodes. I'm gonna give Chainsaw Man 4 episodes to hook me. We'll see. So it's not bad. It's fine. It's okay. It's just not grabbing me yet. Well, it's what I've heard from Brian is intriguing, so I'll stick with it a little bit longer. Reverend Werewolf asked a little bit ago. Curious if I was liking the Sunbreak title updates. I've not purchased Sunbreak, which surprises me, because I love Monster Hunter. But part of it was this year I'm trying not to buy new games. I'm trying to, this year I decided to dedicate to finishing the games I started but never completed. Been doing pretty well too, with the exception of stuff I'm playing specifically for the Sunday stream or for Patreon reward, like Persona 5 I got for a Patreon reward for Brian, Resident Evil Village and Bayonetta 3. Pardon me. Those are for the Extra Life stream. I would have purchased them anyway, but they were for the stream. So, and I did get and play Voice of Cards because I just really wanted to. But for the most part, this year has been dedicated to finish the stuff that you started and didn't complete. So part of that might be why I didn't purchase Sunbreak, but I have to be honest, Sunbreak just isn't calling to me. And I think one of the reasons why is because there's no new... there's not... There are very few truly new monsters in Sunbreak. There's 4, I think. There's the werewolf one, the vampire one, the big golem one, and probably a final boss. The rest of them are, here's a variant of Almudron. Here's a variant of Chameleos. Here's a variant of this other one. Here's a even I just watched the Title 3 stream a few days ago, and they're like, new monsters! I'm like, oh, okay. Gormagala variant. I'm like, so Gormagala, okay. And a variant of this one that you've already fought a million times. Hey, look, Risen Teostra. I've fought Teostra a million times, but this time he's risen. I don't care. Risen Kushala Daora. I fought Kushala Daora a million times. I don't care. I think that's kind of what's keeping me at arm's length from Sunbreak. Maybe I'm just waiting for the next Monster Hunter. I don't know, but there's just not enough new. Also, the base game was absurdly easy. Like, I'm not a great gamer, but I literally never died or carted once in the base game. Monster Hunter Rise. Not once. Which is unheard of. Like, how is that even possible? To be fair, I think there were a few instances, like 2 or 3 instances where I got really lucky. Like, I got stunned and the monster decided to zone out or something. But, I mean, I enjoyed Monster Hunter Rise, but most of the enemies were... I mean, there were some fun new monsters. I liked what's new. The problem is the more Monster Hunter I play, the more monsters I've already fought, and I'm like, I've already fought all these monsters. I love bagel juice, but like, hey, look, it's bagel juice again. Oh, cool! I like bagel juice, but I've fought him in several games now. So, what's next? Is Rathalos in the game? Like, I don't care. And I hate being all poo-pooey and down on it, but I think that's part of what's just kind of sapping my enthusiasm for the game, is it just looks like more of the same. Which is not to say that there's no difference between base monsters and their variants. There is. But, like, when you fought Teostra or Kushala Daora over and over and over and over, I don't care what variant it is. Oh, now Teostra spits poison. Cool. But I've fought Teostra a million times. I'm just not interested in doing it again. And I don't expect every single monster in Monster Hunter to be completely brand new, but game to game, it's just less and less new monsters. I mean, it's nice that they bring old ones back from older games. That like that crab monster. I haven't played Frontier, whichever one it's from, so I've never fought that one. Hermitar, or whatever it is, Shogun Hermitar, or something like that. So that one actually is new to me. So I'll probably get Sunbreak at some point, but you know, partially the trying to play the games, finish the games I started, and partially nothing about Sunbreak has really excited me. Like, here's a vampire dragon. Ooh, neat. Here's a golem thing. Ooh, cool. Here's a werewolf thing. Oh, that's neat. Everything else you've played before. Oh, Almadron, except it's a fire Almadron. Oh, okay. Rachnikadaki, except I forget what the gimmick is. Bishotten, only it's got exploding pine cones instead of the fruit. It's like, well, I mean, cool. You know, maybe it would be more palatable to me if they'd stop billing them as new monsters, because it feels a bit deceptive. Yeah. Title update 3 new monsters. No, they're not. No, totally. Risen Kushala Daora and Risen Teostra are totally new monsters. No, they're not. Are there differences? Yeah. Do they have new attacks and stuff? Yeah, sure. I believe they have new armor sets, and that's great. But I just can't get excited for it. Oh, well. Reverend says, I was curious why we never saw Leslie and Bob return. Now I know. Yeah. Oh, Cold Steel anime series date got released, so I've got a couple months to beat 5 games. So I've got to finish I've got to finish the third. Then I've got to go through the Crossbell arc, and I think I have to get through Cold Steel 1 and 2 to not be spoiled by the anime, right? So, Colin says, I've been trying to watch Naruto, but the awful taste of Blood Prison and Lost Tower made me very reluctant to even watch the show because I hated the movies. Oh, I just never liked Naruto. I've seen a couple of the episodes. I saw them out of order, though. Just, didn't do it for me. Didn't like any of the characters. Reverend Werewolf says, regarding Monster Hunter, you're not wrong. I thought World was way better than Rise. Yeah, I think so too. And I think part of that is you can't do as much on the Switch. Although I appreciate how different they tried to make it within the confines of the technical constraints of the Switch. For example, the Spider-Man Thwippy bug line thing. What the hell is that even called? Shoot, I can't even remember. The bug line, zip line things that they do in the game. That's neat, But one of the things I really loved about Monster Hunter World is it actually felt like a world with real monsters living in it who didn't care about you for the most part. Some were aggressive, but for the most part, in Monster Hunter World, you could go out into any of the biomes and just see the monsters wandering around, doing their own thing. And for the most part, they ignored you. Some of them are very aggressive, but most of them will look at you and go, okay. If you just see, Uragan, just copping a squat on a beach, watching the sunset, and I just walked over and plopped down right next to him, just enjoying the sunset with my buddy Uragan. It was a really wonderful feeling. I did really hate the Ancient Forest map because I put 170 hours into that game or something like that, and I could never navigate my ass through that tree. God damn it. That damn tree. I had to fast travel all the way through the tree because I could never figure out my way through the tree. But yeah, I agree. I liked Monster Hunter World better than... I enjoyed Rise. Don't get me wrong. I think Rise actually did character much better than World did, for example. The people who populate Kamara Village are more personable, more interesting, more distinct, more full of character than the denizens of... I don't remember what the town names in Astera is one of them. Astera, and the Hoarfrost Reach one is, I don't remember. But Rise is a solid Monster Hunter game. But yeah, I agree. World was more my speed. Blast instead of fire. There you go. Bagel, what is that? Basel I need to look at the name Basel Gausu. I guess Basel Goose would be the closest English reading of it. It's like Basel Gausu or something. I think is how it's spelled out. I forget. I just called it bagel juice. Werewolf says, I think I had close to 3,000 hours in World and I still get lost in the ancient forest. That damn tree! Yeah. I've got a bunch more stuff to talk about, but I do want to put one more thing out before we close for tonight. Ow! Oh, blood. Go back into the leg. Go back into the... all of my blood pooled into my right butt cheek, and I have none for my left leg anymore. Gotta tilt to one side to let gravity get the blood glowing back to the lower extremity on the left side. Because that's how the circulatory system works, don't you know? Disney Plus over the past couple of years has been doing some interesting little short things. might have started with Doug Days, which was a series of 5 shorts based on Up, starring Doug the talking dog from Up. They're okay. Who wouldn't want to see more Doug? They're cute. Nothing really to write home about. But especially if you're already there. They have the I Am Groot shorts, which are also fine. They're okay. They're cute. They might make you go, and that's about it. But yeah, I mean, they're like 3 minutes long. So they have a series of Cars shorts, which I didn't watch because I saw the first Cars movie, didn't like it, and I haven't seen any of the others, so I don't care about Cars. But they had one for Baymax, and it was great. Like 6 episodes, 8-10 minutes a piece, and they're really, really good. Well plotted, interconnect really well, very, very funny. I was shocked. I've talked about before. So it was with that attitude that I went into the Zootopia shorts that came out a couple weeks ago, and was quite pleased to find out that the Zootopia shorts are really, really good too. They're not always a success. These shorts based on feature films, but Baymax and Zootopia, they're really, shouldn't do that hand gesture. They're really good. Darn white nationalists have ruined the OK sign. What was I talking about? Zootopia. Yeah. So I imagine some of you are like, Zootopia? Zootopia shorts? I don't care. They're short. I'd recommend giving them a chance because I thought they were a delight. So I will close out with this. While I Fudge. There we go. Muramasa the Demon Blade. Made by Vanillaware, a game company that makes games that are very pretty, unless you hate their art style, I guess. But I like their art style. I think it's very attractive. I've tried playing this game a couple of times, and I don't like it at all. And it makes me very sad. I bought this because it's pretty, and because it's got ninjas in it, and they hit things with swords. And I've tried more than once to get into this game, and I don't like playing this at all. I can't make it more than like 2 hours in this game. I just don't like this game. Which makes me sad because I like looking at this game, and I want to look at the game more. I just don't want to play it. So I picked up 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Yeah, another latest Vanillaware game. I think it's the latest one anyway. I'm hoping I'm not going to play it this year because I'm still playing. Just because I said I'm going to work on games that I haven't completed yet, and I'm not going to start any new games, doesn't mean I can't buy them. Oh, I bought several games this year. I also bought No More Heroes 3. I also bought the AI Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. But I'm not going to start them. I'm gonna finish Kirby Return to Dreamland because I started that game. So I'm really hoping that I'll enjoy this. This one is Ninja Beat 'em Up. This one's a half story adventure, half tactical robot battles. So it sounds kind of like Sakura Wars to me, where half the game is wandering around talking to people and doing story, and then you get into robot mech battles. hopefully it does it for me, because I really want to like one of Vanillaware's games, because I really like the way they look. So we'll see next year. Also, it was like $20. So same reason I bought no more. These were all $20 a piece, I think, if I'm remembering right. Caught them all on sale. I'm like, well, not gonna play them this year, but I'll play them eventually. So when they're on sale. Odin Sphere and Dragon... Odin Sphere predates when I actually had a platform I could play it on. I think it was a PS... Was it PS2 or PS3? Odin Sphere. I think it was like 2000... It might have been PS3, I think. Dragon's Crown... Yeah, Dragon's Crown I probably could have played. That's... Dragon's Crown looks more like Final Fight, Double Dragon, even Gauntlet kind of game, which is usually something I wouldn't mind, for example, playing with Dave during the Extra Life charity thing, but normally not the kind of game I'd play by myself. On the other hand, I did quite enjoy River City Girls, so looking forward to the sequel. Was it PS2? Okay. Odin Sphere and Dragon... Oh, we're great. Okay. Was originally on PS2. I'd like to... I don't have a PS2 here, so... I don't know. Maybe it's available on the eShop or something. I don't know. It's been reissued on PS3 and PS4. Okay. Maybe I'll try it out sometime. But, man, one of my biggest frustrations... I remember when I first got this game back in 2009 or whenever it came out. I excitedly started playing. I'm like, oh, I hate this. And I thought, I'm like, maybe I'll just try it again maybe I'm just in a bad mood. I've tried this at least twice. God damn it. Twice, if not 3 times. And I don't like the game at all. Oh, well. Oh, I also bought the first season of Chucky, so might watch... busy watching Wednesday and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the season 5. So, but this is in the queue too, because I saw the first 2 episodes, because USA/Sci-Fi deigned to allow us to watch the first 2 episodes, and then they're like, now subscribe to whatever you have to subscribe to. I'm like, no. So I bought the disc. Looking forward to watching that. And avoiding spoilers for season 2, which I think either just aired its last episode or is airing its last episode this week. One of the two. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Lots of stuff. Plenty of stuff I didn't even get to. But there are other weeks. So, thank you all for hanging out with me. Glad to be back. And join me tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time, and we'll get back to Trails in the Sky the 3rd. And we'll definitely beat it tomorrow. We'll beat it before the year's out, I'm sure. Because I think we're pretty close to the end of the game. Gotta defeat the Palm at the bottom of the abyss. Gotta level up the rest of my characters. Gotta do the, I think the hard and harder versions of the tournament. And then there's one more door once we beat all the doors. So we're getting close. Holy, MX says, wait, that's it? Yeah, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. So that's it. Sorry. But hope to see you all tomorrow for some game streaming fun. Until then, eat a good dinner with veggies and brush your teeth and stuff, and see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.